All right, ready to dive into another deep dive.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Today we're tackling Finnish humor and using, what else? Jokes from forumitu.txt.
Should be fun.
Definitely. I, for one, am ready for some laughs, and hopefully we can uncover some of the, what makes Finnish humor tick.
Well, I think you'll find Finnish humor has a very distinct flavor, to say the least.
Looking forward to it. And one of the things that immediately jumped out at me were all the animal jokes. Like, there's that one about the bears, right? Waking up from hibernation.
Yeah, classic example of how nature and animals especially play a big part in Finnish humor. The bear, in particular, like it has this whole thing in Finnish folklore, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a symbol of strength, wilderness, even a bit of that clumsiness. So I think that makes them, ripe for some comedic material.
That makes sense. Like these familiar animal characters, they almost add this whole other layer to the humor, right?
Yeah.
Because they tap into these like deeper cultural understanding.
Exactly. And with this specific joke, with that unexpected ending, it really highlights how much Finns love that dry humor, the absurd.
Yeah.
It's not always about laugh out loud. It's the subtle twist. It's that aha moment.
I love that. It's like finding a $20 bill in your pocket. Didn't expect it, but hey, I'll take it. And speaking of unexpected finds, that Pilven Pirdeshe joke had me rolling.
Ah, yes. A perfect example of the clever wordplay that Finns love to use in their humor.
It's so good.
Pilven Pirdeshe literally translates to cloud drawer.
Okay.
But as the joke tells us, it's also slang for a, shall we say, a marijuana dealer.
So clever. It's like you have to get the joke, you have to understand that double meaning.
Yeah.
I'm curious, did it always have that double meaning, that cloud drawer, or is that something that evolved over time?
That's a great question. And it just shows you how language and humor, they're always evolving.
Yeah.
I don't know about the exact historical context of this word, this slang,
Mm.
but it probably came about as marijuana, became more common.
Yeah.
And they needed like these ways to talk about it, even humorously.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much more fun, right? This wordplay.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you know, you know.
Like a secret code. You're in on it. It's like an
right.
inside joke, but instead with like your small group, it's like you're part of something bigger, right? Like you get it. Which, now that I think about it, it's kind of the opposite of dark humor, because dark humor usually highlights the bleaker parts of life. And we saw a lot of dark jokes in this collection.
That's a good observation. You're right. Finnish humor, it doesn't shy away from the darkness.
Right.
Like take that drowning pool sign
Yeah.
or the joke about the bomb diffuser. There's a definite comfort there. Like they're okay with confronting those uncomfortable topics.
Totally. It's almost like they're acknowledging, hey, life, it's not always, sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes the best way to deal with it is to just find the humor in those unexpected places.
Yeah. It's very pragmatic.
Right?
This is life. Let's laugh about it.
Mm.
It's not about, making light of serious things, but finding a way to deal with the absurdity of it all.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, that's pretty universal, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. Now let's switch gears for a second. Finnish humor takes us on quite the ride. Let's talk about relationships and gender roles. Some interesting jokes there, to say the least.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like you get a peek into how Finnish humor kind of walks that line between, relationships and those societal expectations, right?
Like that sexist warning joke, that one felt like, I don't know, walking a tightrope a little bit. Like between being funny, but also saying something about, society.
Right. It's a great example of how humor can be so multi-layered. Because on one hand, it might seem like it's playing into those stereotypes, but I feel like there's also this self-awareness there, like a wink to the audience,
Yeah, like we know these old-fashioned ideas are out there, but we're in on the joke kind of thing.
Exactly. And that's where the humor comes in that tension between the old and the new. Makes you think about those gender roles in a new light.
So it's not just a joke, it's like social commentary hiding out as a punchline. I like it. Would you say this kind of humor, like tackling these societal things, is that a common thread in Finnish humor?
It's in there,
Yeah.
but it's not always so direct. It often relies on that subtlety. Like you got to have that shared cultural understanding. So the jokes might be about those things that matter in Finland, gender roles, social dynamics, but they might do it in a way that you kind of need to know the background to really get.
It's like those you had to be there moments, except it's more like you had to understand the culture to get it.
Yes, exactly. You got to get the nuances right.
Yeah.
The unspoken rules, that shared history, it all plays a part.
This has been so interesting. Like, we started with bears waking up, and now we're, like, dissecting social commentary. Finnish humor is quite the ride.
It really shows you that jokes, they're more than just a way to get a chuckle.
For sure.
They reflect our values, the things we worry about, our whole worldview even. And when it comes to Finnish humor, I think it shows a culture that's not afraid of a little irony. They're okay with things being a little dark.
Mm.
And they can definitely find the funny side of, well, just about anything.
So you don't shy away from a little wordplay either.
Nope.
Speaking of unexpected things, though, how do you think this style of humor, Finnish humor, stacks up against other cultures? Is it totally unique, or do you see those universal themes pop up?
Oh, absolutely. That's what's so fascinating, right? You have that universality, but also that very specific cultural flavor.
Yeah.
And I think Finnish humor definitely embodies that.
So true. What would you say those universal themes are then? You know, the ones that really resonate no matter where you're from.
We'll take that bear joke, right? That image of bears waking up from hibernation and just,
Yeah,
it's funny. It's inherently funny. It doesn't matter what culture you're from because we all get it. It taps into that understanding of animal behavior, maybe even some relatable human experiences.
totally. And I'll admit, that joke, it got a chuckle out of me. So even with all the cultural stuff, there's that common ground.
Exactly. It's like we recognize those shared experiences, even if they're, seen through a specific cultural lens. So the Finnish way of expressing it might be unique, but the humor underneath, it can resonate with anyone.
It's like we're all laughing at the same joke, just with different accents.
I love that. Perfect way to put it. It's about finding the humor in being human, no matter where you are.
This has been amazing. We've laughed, we've thought, we've really dug deep into Finnish humor.
It's been a pleasure. Always a joy to dig into this stuff. It's fascinating.
And for everyone listening, I hope this deep dive gave you a whole new appreciation for Finnish humor. And hey, remember, these jokes, just the tip of the iceberg. Keep exploring. There's a whole world of humor out there. And who knows, maybe you'll even learn a little something about yourself along the way.